Hi folks, this is Vicki at patternprincess.com. Today I wanted to show you how to do the stitches in this really pretty baby blanket. It's a nice thick blanket, and this pattern works up relatively quick. This uses medium weight yarn. This blanket I have named the Hudson Soft and Bulky Baby Blanket. The reason I called it a bulky is because just look at all the squish. Hopefully you can see this. Maybe I can show you on the sides. But there's a lot of squish and a lot of depth to this pattern. And there are ridges, and you can pull it apart when you measure it and make it bigger. But if you just lay it down flat without pulling anything, it measures 29 inches by 33. I do have another blanket that I've made using this stitch, and I'll have all of that information on the website in the free pattern as well. And I will have the link to the free pattern in the comment section below, so make sure you check that out. It's free on the website. But this pattern here uses Wander yarn, and I use it in 4 different colors. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's agave, patina, wintermint, and tundra. The bluish color is the tundra, and I think that this one was agave. I think this is patina, and I think that this was the wintermint, and then this bluish one here is the tundra. And I've also made another baby blanket in just these 3 colors, and I've called that the sea glass, and that turned out really pretty. And I used a different stitch pattern with that, and I went around it in a border. That one has a border on using the wintermint, and so it's mint, so make sure you check that out. This one here does not have a border on it. The borders are nice and straight. And I just crocheted with each skein until I couldn't crochet anymore. It was just very simple. I didn't want to have leftover yarns. I wanted to use up what I had, okay? So let's get the rows going. This is a repeat of rows 3 and 4. To make your beginning stitches, you need multiples of 3. So anything that you can divide by 3, you can make your blanket with. I do have other suggested sizes and stitch counts and yarn for 3 other sizes besides this one. And the yarn I'm using today is Wander again, and this one is the Tundra. It's by Furls Fiber Arts. It's an 5.5 millimeter Furls hook as well. I had never worked with an acrylic. I think it's called maybe an acrylic hook, or a resin hook, maybe resin. And this was nice and light, held up well. There are no rough spots to catch the yarn on, so I like that as well. And I do like the little bit bigger handle stuff, just for as you get older hands. It's nicer for me. This Tundra, or I should say this Furl Fiber Arts Wander Acrylic Yarn, this is 120 yards per skein. So if you're wondering that, it's a 4 medium weight, and the recommended hook size is actually a 5 millimeter. So I'm using one size bigger in this pattern. Okay, so let's get our loop on, and let's get showing you here how to do this pattern. I'm going to get my slip stitch on. Gosh, I don't know, maybe I'll do like 21, I guess. Maybe we'll do 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. Okay, so we have our chains all done. And remember, I said that this is a row, it's a row, I think I said row 3 and 4 repeat. Okay, so 1 and 2 was just more of a setup row. So in row 1, we're just going to do in the second chain from the hook, we're going to do a single crochet. So here's the first chain. So in that second chain right there, we're going to do a single crochet. And then we're just going to single crochet all the way across. I'm just using the top loop for this because I don't plan on adding a border. And with all of the puffiness of this blanket, I couldn't tell you that it made any difference that I just crocheted in the loop on the top. And the reason I'm saying that is some folks, if you're going to do a border, you can turn it around and crochet into this back loop here, the back bump. And that'll give you a little bit more of a seamless pattern where it's not going to pull apart as much as if you put the row around. And so we'll just quickly do our single crochet here. You can either pause it and do your own single crochet or fast forward and go to step 2. Our second row is also more of a setup row. Our second row is just going to be a little bit of double crochets. Okay, so here we go. We almost got our single crochets done. All right, one more. And our single, oh, I didn't get all my thread, my yarn. Okay, so our single crochet is done. Okay, row 1 is done. Now we're going to turn it and do our row 2. And we're going to chain 3. Whoops. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, and then in that very same first stitch, or you could say 4th stitch from the hook, either way that makes sense to you. We're going to just do another double crochet. Okay, yarn over, because we're going to do double crochets in this row. We're going to skip 1 stitch, and then in the next stitch we're going to work 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then in that third stitch we're going to do 3 double crochet, and we're going to do this all the way across now until we get to the other end. 2, 3, skip 2, and the third one, 3 more double crochet. 2, 3, my yarn is catching. Okay, skip 2, 1, 2, 3 double crochet, and we just got a couple more, and then we'll be at the end. This is such a nice, pretty squishy stitch, and there's maybe a name for it. I don't know what it is. Oftentimes when you make things up on the fly, you find out later that there was a name. At least that's the case with me. Here we go. 1, 2, and I also think that this blanket would be nice for a play mat. It's that thick and squishy. It's very nice. 1, 2, and then the third, we're going to do our last 3 double crochet, and then we have 2 stitches left. So I'm going to show you that in just a second. Just as when we started off, we had our chain 3 that counted as a double crochet, and then we did a double crochet in the same space. We're going to end with the same. Okay, so we're going to skip that stitch, and then we're going to do 2 double crochet in that last stitch. And let me make sure I get off my, there we go, all of my yarn pieces. Oh my goodness, can I struggle some more? There we go. 1, 2. So this is row 2 all done. Let me lay that out. Isn't that starting to look pretty, even just that? Okay, here we go. So row 3, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to do a double crochet in that same stitch, just like you did the previous row. Yarn over. Now, we're going to skip to this post, this middle stitch right here. We did the 3 double crochet. We're going to skip, and we're going to be working around that middle double crochet post, not the top stitches, but this post right here, okay? So we're going to skip 2 stitches and go here, and I'm going to do a front post double crochet, but you could do a back either way. It doesn't matter because you're going to be alternating between those. So I'm going to do a front post double crochet, and I'm going to work 3 of those. Okay, so I've yarned over, put my hook here behind this front post, but in front of the 2 posts alongside of it. Okay, so here we go with our first double crochet, and we're going to do this again 2 more times. And then here's my third. Okay, now we're going to jump to the next. It looks a little bit wonky at this point, but it'll come out really nice, I promise. Okay, so now we went behind, or I should say behind the front post before and ahead of the others. Now we're going to come from behind and go ahead of that front post. So we're going to go behind those other posts. And now we're going to do 3 double crochet. Here's 1. So we're going to go behind again, that first post, over the middle post and behind the next post. And grab our yarn, 2 double crochets. We're going to do it one more time. And now we're going back to the front. Okay, so we're going to yarn over, skip this stitch, skip this stitch. We're going to go ahead of that, behind the middle, and ahead of the other one. Grab our yarn, and we're going to do 3 double crochet. There's 1, 2, whoopsies, 3. Okay, now we're going to do the opposite. Okay, go back. And sometimes your hook does get caught on some of the yarn, and you just work it around. But as I find that as I'm doing this more often, you get a little bit better at it. You kind of like hold the sides, these other 2 stitches over, so the one that you're working on kind of pokes out more, and it makes it a little bit easier. So now this one is the front. I'm going to go to the front again. And I don't think I got all of my yarn pieces. I'm pretty sure I didn't. Do it again. It didn't feel like it anyway. Maybe I did. 1, 2, and then 1 more. And now we got 1 more little cluster to do. We're going to go behind this stitch, in front of the middle stitch, behind the other stitch. There we go. And this is nice because once you get the first couple rows here done, after this, I didn't really count a whole lot except for, you know, making sure I had my 3 double crochets. And I started, but the rows start and end the same. So that's, we're going to skip this, and then we're going to go all the way to the end with a 2 double crochet between the first 2 double crochet stitches. So I'm not even going to go into a stitch here. I'm just going in between, which is, it just makes it really simple. Gives you a nice straight edge. And here's my 2 double crochet. So this is the first row of your repeating row. So you can see it's a little bit wonky right now, but it's starting to take shape. You can start to see a little bit of that bulk to it. Now, I'm going to turn it. Row 4. Row 4, we're going to do our chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This is always how we're starting it, with a double crochet in the same space. And you're always going to end it with those 2 double crochet in the last area. What's different is where we're going to place our 3 double crochet clusters. So you can tell that hopefully you can tell that your yarn is up on this side. This one is up on this side. This one is up on this side. So it alternates. So all you're going to do is the exact opposite of what you've done. So if the yarn is poked this way, you're going to poke it back the other way. Okay? So I'm going to do the back loop, or I should say the back post double crochet, and we're going to do that 3 times. And it would depend on how many stitches you have across, which way you start your clusters off. It depends on how many stitches you use, but either way, you just go the opposite way of what you did. Now I'm doing front. Okay, I'm bringing that back one to the front. And then here's my next one. And then this one is poking on this side. You can just see it's on this side of the, can you see that? That's on this side of the yarn, and this one's behind if you turn it over. Okay, so then we're going to bring that one to the back and do our 3 double crochet. And so that's what part of it, to me, made it look, nice, is once you get used to recognizing those stitches, you just know which, you can end anywhere, and you can pick this up very easy, because you can tell exactly what kind of stitch goes next. So it might look a little bit complicated at first, but I think if you give it a try. I think you'll be able to get it. If you can double crochet, you could get this done. I would say it's probably for a little bit of an intermediate pattern, just because of the fact that you're doing the front post and back post double crochet. That can be difficult, I think, for a beginning crocheter. But I hope you like this pattern. I'm going to just finish it off here. And I'm going to get some more yarn. Just a little bit to finish off my end. There we go. And we're going to finish it off with 2 double crochet, and I'm going to show you how this is looking. There we go. And you can't quite see the ridges yet. You can't see, but they're starting to form. So we have ridges starting to form here on this side, and here on this side. Here's another ridge, and if you turned it over, they're pointing up the other way and pointing up that way, just like here. I'm going to get this blanket out again. Right here, we have the ridges on both sides. It's a nice reversible pattern. See that? And that's how you do it. You repeat rows 3 and 4. So now when you do 3, it's the same thing, except you're just going to be starting off differently as far as like which, is it a front post or a back post? That's it. That's the only difference really, is which way you're starting off when you're doing the clusters, because you're going the opposite way on every single cluster. Oops, and I just did 3. What am I doing? There's 2. See, I was talking. So this first one is pointing backwards. This next one is pointing up. So if it's pointing backwards, I'm going to bring it to me. And so now I'm going to do a front post double crochet. And here we go. Here's 1. And that's all I do. That's all you do, is you continue doing this pattern and alternating where you have your front post and back post double crochet, and you do your 3 clusters of your double crochets. I do another one here and 1 more, and I'm going to let you take a look at it as it's starting to come, because it would be row 5 that I'm starting. But you can kind of see it's starting to the pattern is starting to appear. So I hope that you like this pattern. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I will have the free written pattern as well on the website. And enjoy. I hope that you enjoy this pattern. Take care.